and I'm straddling her, and I released at the right moment, and it, instead of coming down into her mouth, it shot out at like a 45-degree angle.
In my crumble opinion. Hi, welcome my little crumb dumpsters. Guess what? We are back doing some interview style podcasting here in my crumble opinion. And yes, we are not at the Cakes Manor where we normally film these things. We are in Mary Vice's room because my guest today is Mary Vice.
Oh my God. Thanks for having me.
So before we start, just some housekeeping notes. Subscribe, like, share, follow me on social media platforms such as Instagram, and especially here on YouTube because that's how we get more views and how you get notified when we get new content out to you. And then consider joining Patreon. At the end, we're going to name all of our Cake Tier patrons like we do at the end of every episode. Oh, I sound out of breath, but it's because I'm wearing a corset and this like weird like
For what reason?
for what reason, honestly, but also like this weird kind of like bungee tank top made of pearls, and it's like crushing my rib cage. Anyways, that's drag for you. How are you doing, Mary?
Well, I'm also wearing a very constricting bustier under this fucking caftan for some reason. I mean, the gown does have a waist, so
It's gorgeous. Show it off.
And it's not really gonna be on camera, so whatever.
Well,
But it
we'll
just
put up photos
feels
of it.
like I'm in drag.
Yeah.
If you got that little...
Yeah, exactly. Ankle down, there's no drag going on. Waist down, there's no drag going on. Waist up, it's all drag. Okay, so Mary Vice, let's just jump into it. We have a gig in a little bit. We have a slutty little gig after the viewing of Deep Throat, which is a cinematic masterpiece, if you haven't seen it. I also have a vagina in my throat. That, not to give the premise away, that's what the premise is. But we have to go perform at it very soon. So if we're going a little fast, just pretend that we're not being buoyed by all this manic energy. Mary Vice, where did your name come from?
Ooh, so it is a reference, but it's not meant to be like, ooh, I get it. It's just more for me. So I named myself after Mary Weiss of the Shangri-Las.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've always had kind of like a retro vibe, especially when I started out, I was doing a lot of like old like girl group songs.
So you consider
Mary Weiss,
yourself like
Mary Weiss.
like a vintage queen or
Yeah, ish.
Ish.
Yeah, I don't know. I try not to like brand myself too much, but I'm definitely like
Oh,
very...
RuPaul doesn't like that. You need to come up with... No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I don't know.
I
I
get
just
that.
feel like lately, well, not lately, it's been a long time. Everyone who starts doing drag is like, I have to have my aesthetic, my brand, and it's like, bitch, just do drag. Just like do what feels good. Have fun with it. So like, I try not to wall myself into one particular thing, but I definitely gravitate to like 60s, 70s, 80s.
Yeah. You would say this is 70s?
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of went
This is
60s, and I was like worried. I was like, oh no, Mary's 70s and I'm 60s. People are going to be confused. But then I'm just like, no, nobody cares or knows. No. So you kind of brought up Mary Weiss of the Shangri-Las. Is she a non-drag inspiration of yours?
I guess so.
Do you have others?
Non-drag inspirations for my drag. I mean... I don't know. I mean, I definitely started out in the burlesque world. Burlesque and drag, there's a lot of overlap, especially these days, but there always has been. So I'd say like my biggest influence like overall was like burlesque queens. Just like I wanted to be the glamour naked bitch.
Yeah.
That was like my goal starting drag. So
do you still feel like you're living up to that goal?
Yeah, I don't have as many.
I see your butt a lot.
Yeah, I don't. I used to do a lot more like actual striptease numbers, and now I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of lazy. I'm naked a lot, but I'm not doing much like strictly burlesque numbers lately. I have like 2 maybe.
How do you distinguish between stripping and burlesque? I know there's a difference, but for the viewers at home, what's the difference between being slutty, being a stripper, and then doing burlesque, or is it all the same thing?
I would like to say there's no difference, only because some of these burlesque bitches want to distance themselves from strippers, and that's fucking stupid, okay? You're doing the same thing. You are not more highbrow because you're getting paid $30 for it instead of making $1,000 in a night, okay?
That part.
So take your ass to the strip club and learn some tricks.
That's right. And I've seen some burlesque dance. I've seen some amazing burlesque and amazing stripping. Like, we went to a strip club once, and it was like Cirque du Soleil, maybe even better.
Yes.
And I'm just like, oh damn.
I remember I do listen to a lot of podcasts, and on Sloppy Seconds they were interviewing Ben de la Creme, and they're like, oh my god, yeah, like burlesque seems cool, but like I don't know, I've been to some shows and they were just awful. And Ben de la Creme's like, yeah, a lot of drag is awful too. It's not like the art form. It's like most drag is not great. Most burlesque, not incredible. I mean, I'm not like shitting. We have amazing performers here. There's so many people I look up to. Like, I'm not shitting on burlesque as an art form, but I'm saying like most art that gets put out into the world and most performance art, it's not like world class, you know? So
That's true.
like, I'd say, yeah, you're probably going to see more like impressive acrobatics at a strip club.
Yeah.
Because it's their livelihood.
I will
And not a
say
hobby.
before moving on.
Am I going to get canceled for a
no.
burlesque opinion?
Ooh. Being in like spaces and burlesque spaces, and just like not a fan of straight people. Straight men kind of like, ooh, like
that was
ruin
also
things.
why I kind of gravitated away from like strictly the burlesque scene more to like strictly drag. So,
do you have some drag inspirations?
Who
do you look up to?
Well, I'd have to say my mother, Mr. David. Yeah, I don't know. Who else? Drag inspirations. I mean, just the people I came up with and started with in San Francisco, like Nikki, Cochina, Clark, Celeste, Cash, like all those bitches.
Yeah. That's great. Were you going to say something, Angel?
No, I was just smiling at the...
Oh, yeah, we have a peanut gallery today. Oh my gosh, I'm like corseted and wearing this weird thing, so it's just like there's a burp stuck right here in my throat chakra. It's fine. Okay. Okay. Angel, this is your question, actually. Do you want to read it? Here, I'm gonna hand it over to you. So put your phone down.
I need a mic.
Oh yeah. Okay. Here.
So I made a Twitter poll a little while ago of the Bay Area's top drag power couples. You and Trans came in last.
Is that why Translucent is not booked today?
If you had scored higher, yeah, exactly.
Damn.
No, I found it very unfair that you two scored last, especially because not everyone on that list were actual drag performers. But my question is, what is it like having a partner who is also a drag performer? Are there...
I love it. I love it so much. Before, I haven't been in a relationship in many, many years, and I was like not really looking for it. But like when I thought about what I might want, I was kind of like, I want someone who's not in nightlife, someone who does something totally different from what I do. But now, like being in a relationship with another drag performer, I'm like, this is awesome. It's so great, like having somebody that's on the same wavelength, like gets it, understands the crazy schedule, like understands the pressures of it, and the just all of that. I feel like if I was with somebody who was not in nightlife, it would be so difficult to, I don't know, just maintain a relationship.
Is there any downsides to being with someone that's in the same kind of line of work? Pretend they're not here.
I would say they steal my drag, but honestly, I wear their stuff more than they wear mine. I like steal their wigs all the time, so it's
yeah. You wore that new Loma wig. I saw.
Every time they get a new wig, I wear it.
I was like, oh, that wig is such a slay.
Sorry.
Well, it looks great on both of you. For the viewers at home, who is your partner?
My partner is Translucent. Yes. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you like doing numbers together?
I do. We've only performed together once, right? That duet? What was that other one? Oh, that was so cute. Yeah, we
But it's
performed
so
together
cute you
twice.
forgot about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
damn. Well, the first number we did together was a variation of the corn dog number, Crimson and
Okay.
Clover.
Yeah.
But it was just the whipped cream version, the cream pie version, and we got fucking nasty at the Eagle for $20. We showed hole and made out and almost fucked in front of a few people.
Ooh, you show Hole a lot. One image of you that I really have never been able to get out of my mind is I think from Vivi's grand opening, there's like this liturgical, religious kind of
Mhm.
commentary installation thing, and you represented all these different sins, and I just remember like being like 3 feet away of some dark liquid being squirted out of your butt into Jillian's mouth.
It didn't.
What was the liquid?
Okay, first of all, it did not make it into Jillian's mouth. We rehearsed this, but and I was a very, very devoted bottom. I like did not eat from the night before. I cleaned out. I did so much. But we didn't really realize the force that it would shoot out with.
Your
Um,
sphincter was.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
okay, the setup. It was a whole religious show. Hollow curated that one. It was called the Church of Nihilism, and me and Jillian did this like religious like kink number
Mhm.
where we were like smacking each other on the ass with Bibles and shit like that. And we had a communion moment where I got naked and I was straddling her face. My ass was towards the audience and she was under me like this. And I'm straddling her and I released at the right moment and it instead of coming down into her mouth, it shot out at like a 45-degree angle. It hit the stage of the stud and it splashed all over Bonita.
Oh wow.
Um,
That's
yeah,
a blessing.
Bonita and her friend Rose, who I love so much, and I didn't really realize what had happened until after the show, and I saw the two of them outside, like soaking wet, being like, "That was the coolest thing that's ever happened." I was like, "Thank God it was people that were excited about my butt juice." If I am correct, I think it was beet juice that I used in my
Beet
butt.
juice. So
Yeah.
the inside of your holes like was stained pink.
Mm-hmm.
Er. Okay. So you kind of mentioned this, but when I was coming up, I saw you, Cash, Florida, almost at every show doing things together. I kind of like pair you together or
Mhm.
couple you or group you together in my mind as like this like drag goal or inspiration for
Mhm.
me. It's just like I want to be like them. So obviously, all three of you stuck with drag and are now kind of like you know I would say established. Can you talk about kind of like your relationship with them
Yeah.
starting out and like where you all ended up now?
Yeah, so at the time we were all living together. Me and Cash met Florida before she started doing drag. We were just talking about this. I don't know exactly how to define the relationship. Like Florida's like a bastard drag child. Like I didn't necessarily raise her, but like me and Cash definitely we are responsible for her conception. Like but we take no responsibility for everything that happened after that. So yeah, I like met Florida outside the stud when I was hosting a show, hosting lip service.
Lip service.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
And she basically came up to me and was like, "Oh my God, I'm thinking about doing drag. Can I show you a picture of me in makeup?" And it's like some wretched bathroom selfie of her with oatmeal brows. And I'm like, "Yeah, girl, do it. Like, just go for it." But then, yeah, basically, like me and Cash like befriended her and like took her to Aunt Charlie's for the first time, got her booked for some of her first things. And me and Cash were like fighting, being like, "No, she's your kid. She's your kid. No, I don't want her. I don't."
It's not fighting over like the opposite of people
Yeah.
with Lisa Frankenstein. It's like I'm not claiming this.
I don't want to raise anybody. I need to be famous myself first. I don't care. I'm not raising drag children. I'm sorry. But I was like backstage with Florida at High Fantasy like gluing pasties onto her naked body and being like, yeah, me and Cash keep fighting about which one of it. And she's like, you realize what you're doing right now? You're literally putting me in drag. You are my mother. And I was like, no!
Jump scare.
But anyway, the three of us ended up moving in together. That's when I first moved to Soma. And it was like my first time living with other queer people, living with drag performers. We lived across the street from the stud. It was a fucking crazy year and a half, and I haven't left Soma since. But yeah, that was like such a moment.
What were you doing before drag?
I don't know. I did theater, so like
Mhm.
high school, college, did theater. I ended up doing theater major in college. And I was like trying to pursue acting for a while after that. I lived in Philadelphia. And I was
Mhm.
doing some stuff, but it was like really not going anywhere. And
Yeah.
I was kind of like floundering, and I was like, I don't know about this shit. Like, maybe I should find a real job. And then I had been like kind of interested in drag, but been like, I don't know, I don't know what I should do. And then I finally did it, and I was like, oh, I'm way better at this, and I can make way more money, and like people want to book me for shit when I was like not.
And
Getting
you get
work
to
as
be
an
the
actor.
star.
Yeah.
That's great. I also tried to be an actor for a little bit. I did it for like a year after I graduated from college, and I was like, oh, I hate auditioning.
I am horrible
hate
at auditioning.
No. Oh, I would just like cry afterwards too, thinking about how bad I was.
My like theater program in college was great. Like on the artistic side, like I felt like so into it and like, oh my god, I'm learning so much. They did not teach us how to audition for a role, how to get a fucking job. Like we auditioned for the shows, but the
Mm.
program was so small that like you kind of knew who was going to be
Yeah.
in things. So like I really had no like real world like know how to get work as an actor. So I was just like, okay, I give up. Yeah. So anyway, here I am.
That's crazy. So you've done other things with Cash Monet.
Mhm.
Not only not raised Florida Man, but you also did Streamworks during the pandemic. Can you talk
Yes.
about that a little bit? You're not a
Yes.
stranger to YouTube.
No, I honestly, when y'all were setting up lights in here, I got kind of triggered because um, I used to host a digital drag show right here in this bedroom every week. Yeah, so when lockdown started in this house, it was me and Clark and Cash. Me and Cash moved in literally like a week before lockdown, maybe 2 weeks. We moved in March 1st. And then, you know, very soon after that, things shut down. People were scrambling, figuring out what to do. We were very lucky to have Cash here because she already had done some streaming. She is a professional videographer, photographer. So she had lights, she had cameras, she had everything. And we kind of hit the ground running like week one. We were just like, all right, let's do it. And that's how I ended up being the host of Pillows at Powerhouse.
Period.
Oh, so you
So,
weren't hosting when
I
it
was
was live?
not.
Oh,
No.
I did not know that.
No. So, little history lesson. Pillows started after Club Something ended at the Stud.
Okay.
Glamma went over to Powerhouse, which was like her other home bar, and she was like, I'm going to start something here. And she started a Monday night show with Downey, Kevin, who was also part of Club Something.
Gotcha.
And
Club Something was on Tuesdays, though, right?
by the time I moved here, it was like the Friday night or Saturday night show. It was the
Okay.
Friday night show at the
Gotcha.
Stud.
Okay.
If I got that wrong, sorry. I smoke a lot of weed. But it was always a weekend show as long as I was here. But
Gotcha.
Glamma started her thing with Kevin over at Powerhouse. They did the show together for 1 week, and then Kevin dipped, and it was just Glamma's show. But Kevin came up with the dumbass name Pillows, and now we're stuck with it 6 years later.
You don't like it?
Now I like it. But
I
for a
like
while, I was
it.
like, can we please change the name? What the fuck does Pillows mean? Why is that the name of a drag show? But now I love it. Now I love it because it's like stupid and silly and fun. But basically, I was going to Pillows every single week. I lived in the neighborhood. I was performing there a lot. Sometimes when I didn't even know I was booked, Glamma would text me and be like, you got a number tonight? And I would show up and I'd do something. So yeah, once lockdown started and we were like, let's do some streaming stuff, I was like, hey Glamma, what if we do a Pillows show? And we thought it was going to be a one-off. And then it was a lot of fun. And then we did it for a year and a half online. So then
Wow.
when the bars reopened, Glenn was like, all right, you're hosting now. Get to work. So
That's great. So
No.
how long have you been doing pillows now? I'm bad at math.
that started 2020. So I'm like 3.5 years in.
Great. Congratulations. That's a long time to be hosting something. Do you have a favorite memory from pillows? I bet you have a lot of memories though.
Yeah.
Do you have any memories?
Select memories. Well, I think a lot about like before I was part of the show and I would just go all the time. There was like the first night of 1,000 Nickies was at Pillows.
Oh.
Take that, princess. It was
Everyone's
like,
always yelling at Princess for stealing themes, but I'm just like,
it's literally,
themes
I'm
happen.
literally just kidding. It's fine.
I know.
But I was actually, I wore this wig. So this was Nikki's wig like 5 years ago that she wore the fuck out of and left at our house at some point.
It's great.
And it did not look like this. It
Oh,
looked
okay.
like absolute garbage.
Okay.
So I wore this wig looking fucking crazy and like a rhinestone bodysuit, and I like slammed my ass on the Powerhouse stage as Nikki Jizz. And then I like threw this wig in a garbage bag where it lived until like 6 months ago. I gave it to Shiksa and was like, can you do something with this?
Oh.
And she brought it back to life, and it's beautiful.
Oh, amen for Shiksa. I've been wearing a lot of Shiksa restyles. Thank you, Shiksa. This is not one of them. This is something that Neapolitan did, but she's been slaying it out, and this looks great.
I love it.
I love it. Oh. Okay, well, on that note, let's take a short break. Let's reset a little bit, and then we're gonna jump in deeper. I keep saying that. Jump in deeper. Dive in deeper. Go in deeper. Go into this pinker hole deeper. Okay. Welcome back. I'm here with Mary Weiss. This is YouTube, not actual TV, so you knew that already. So hopefully you enjoyed a nice commercial. If you want a commercial on our show, just hit us up in the DMs or comment or bother Angel on Food for Angels on Instagram. And Food for the Angels on Instagram. Thank you. She doesn't have a mic today, so she's been communicating with me with her very faint eyebrows, non-existent eyebrows. Okay, so I'm gonna confess something, which you probably already knew. It was always like very hard for me to engage with you in bars and talk to you because I was always just kind of like gobsmacked. I like looked at you as a goddess, like for the longest time. So like,
well, keep looking, bitch.
Yeah. Now I've surpassed. No, I'm just kidding. No, but my goal when I got into drag, I was like, I had just seen you win Butch Queen, and I know you had also won like a mixed Rorschach, and then
the night before,
and then you were gonna go compete in Star Search. So you were just like on this. So like when I started drag, I was like, within my first year of doing drag, I want to win those competitions. Obviously, that did not happen. But
you, I don't know. But you're sickening.
Thank you.
Have you won any pageants?
You know, I won the first pageant. We won. It was kind of like a group win, although it's like I conceptualized everything and coordinated everything and choreographed everything and got everybody's costumes together. I mean, Angel stoned up, but like it was like all me.
Mm-hmm.
But I won, and I cast the whole number. So I was director. I had anyways, I had a muse.
Sorry, that question was triggering.
So we won Gaggle, which
Slay.
is like a fake pageant that Vivi uses her like what is it, like scholarship money? Not scholarship money. Grant money on. Yeah. So Gaggle, maybe it'll come again. Maybe we're the forever reigning Gaggle winners. And then and that's about it. I've had a hand in helping people do well in pageants, but I myself have not won a pageant. Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm a winner. Anyways, we're not talking about me.
What I meant to say was, oh my god, thank you, Phoebe. That was so nice of you to say, and I admire your drag too.
Yeah. Well, that was all just a segue into saying, it's like, you haven't competed in a while, but I kind of like associate you as being like a fierce pageant competitor. Do you want to talk about your experiences doing those particular pageants, but also do you have plans for doing more?
I want to compete more. I did the last thing that I entered in was the Miss Gay
And you won.
San Francisco pageant, which I did win. Here's the thing though. I was like itching to compete. I was like, I haven't competed anything in a while. I want to challenge myself. I really want to do this pageant. And I'd never gotten involved in like court stuff before because that's under the Imperial Court. And I was like, I'm going to try this out. No one else submitted for my category.
Oh.
There were no other competitors
so you
for
won
Miss Gay.
by default?
And then I still had to do the fucking pageant. I was like, God damn it. Now I have to do all this shit, and it's like a foregone thing. I would have to like really fuck up to not win it. So that was kind of a letdown. But I will say I still claim it as a win because leading up to it, the weeks that the applications were out, I kept hearing, oh, well, this person's applying, this person's applying, this person's applying, and then they didn't,
Maybe
which
because
means they heard I was doing it, and then
Exactly.
they said no, so I still won.
You did win. You scared people away. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you currently reigning Miss Gay
No,
San Francisco?
no.
No.
I
Who's the
gave
current?
that up last fall.
Who's the current Miss
Current
Gay?
reigning is Miss Ronnie Nothing More.
Oh,
Yes.
work.
But I do want to compete more. I keep like almost submitting for the Prince X, and then I didn't. The last 2 years I was like, oh, I should do that, and then I was like, no, I'll do it next
you
year.
should do it.
No, but it'll happen. It'll happen. I heard I was on Drag Race this year, so hopefully that works
I
out.
saw that too. Ms. Mojo said that, or whoever makes those list videos. What are your responsibilities? Well, what were your responsibilities, Miss Gay?
As Miss Gay?
Did you have to do
It was like fundraising things because it's the court is all about fundraising. So you're required to go to like a certain number of events. I didn't really complete all of my requirements, but they let me through anyway.
Well, there's no runner-up to take
okay.
over.
And you had to host a couple of fundraisers too.
Okay.
So I did do those things.
What were your responsibilities for the other pageants? Rorschach, did you have to do anything?
No, I did come back and judge Rorschach, which was
nice.
fun. And for Butch Queen, I just did a step down.
Yeah.
That was it.
Wow, low commitment.
Yeah.
Low commitment queen. Low commitment winner. Mary Weiss. So pre-pandemic, fun world that was before Corona. You were doing spooky tours in San Francisco, and I kept wanting to go, but it never happened. And you no longer do them. No. Do you miss it?
No.
No. Did you hate it?
I was very grateful for that job when I started out, and it was like very interesting. I learned about a lot of like SF history. So I did ghost tours around Union Square in drag. But girl, I was telling the same stories like literally like 10 plus times a week for like 3 years. So it got old.
No, but that's good.
Yeah,
That
by the
means you're
time
really
I was
good at
done,
it.
I was like, oh my God. And like, yeah, it basically ended with lockdown, and I like managed to like not need the job moving forward. So I was like, that was kind of my out. I like leading up to that, I was like, how much longer can I keep doing this? I'm losing my mind. And then, the world ended, and I got out of a job I was over. So
things worked out. Well, sorry to re-trigger you or re-traumatize you, but could you give us a little spooky information, trivia?
I feel like I've blocked a lot of it out. It's really weird. Whenever I'm around Union Square, I'm like, oh my God. Because before that was like the only reason I spent time in that area was leading those tours. And now I'll like be on the corner where it started, and I'm like, how did that story begin? I told it literally like hundreds and hundreds of times, and I'm like, it's gone. It's gone from my mind. I don't know.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Kind of, yes. This room specifically is haunted.
Okay.
Yeah, when I first moved in here,
Okay.
I had some weird shit.
Tell us about the ghost here.
Okay. So this house has a lot of history. The person who lived in this room, her name is Carol. She is living in like an assisted living place, still in the city, but she's not here anymore. And she was a lesbian dominatrix.
Is that who's in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Okay, I was
There's some
looking at
sickening
these
photos
photos
of
and I
her.
was just
She's
like,
beautiful.
is this Peggy Bundy doing
Yes.
BDSM?
So she moved in here in 1989 because her previous apartment got fucked up in the Loma Prieta earthquake in
Okay.
89. So this house is over 100 years old, but it survived that earthquake, so I feel like we're safe. She moved here because of that earthquake. She lived here for 30 plus years as a dominatrix, and then like in her later years, she like took in a lot of like faggots. Like when she
Oh.
wasn't working anymore, the house became like she just liked having gay people around.
Wow.
So that's not really a ghost story, but a lot of cool shit has happened here.
That is
And
very
at one
cool.
point, I don't know which part of the house or like what room, but like I know that this apartment was like an AIDS hospice at one point.
Mhm.
So I know that definitely some people died here. I have had like ghosty experiences in this room, but never anything like scary or like,
Mhm.
like there was, when I first moved in here, I had like a little shelf by my bed and I had just moved in. So it was like still like wrapped in plastic. This is important for later in the story. But my phone, this happened 2 days in a row. My phone was sitting on top of the little table thing, on top of the plastic, so it couldn't slide. It was
Okay.
like stuck, right?
Yeah.
On top of the plastic. 2 days in a row, I woke up to my phone falling on the floor.
Like, not you knocking it over while you
No,
slept.
bitch. And then another time, I woke up to my door opening in the middle of the night, and I like opened my eyes, and I swear for a second I saw like the silhouette of a person in the doorway.
Ah! Oh my god, that's so scary. Oh my god, that's happened to me.
I kind of just like sat there and stared, and I was like,
Oh.
"I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm okay."
Oh my
And then I
gosh,
went
sleep
back to sleep, and I was
paralysis
okay.
demons, they're real. That happened to me once. It's the scariest thing.
Mhm.
Cause like your body, like when you're asleep, like puts out all these like weird chemical, like signals to like, paralyze you. So when you're like half awake and you see something like staring at you, you can't move. It's so scary.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. I'm scared. You have a lot of eyes staring at your bed too. That's spooky. Okay, you can't see it. It is spooky. Okay, cool. Yay, thank you for the ghost story. That's what I
Yay.
wanted. Okay. It's Pride Month. I feel like corporations are a little quieter this year. People are
Mhm.
talking about it.
Mhm.
But a lot of us, it's a very busy month for us queer creative performers. Is it a busy month for you?
Not as crazy as previous years, and I'm okay with it. I have like
Yeah.
a handful of nice paying gigs, and I'm
Mhm.
like, great.
That's all I
I'm
need.
not
Yeah.
like actual Pride weekend. I'm like going on Saturday night, and that's it. I'm like
Mhm.
I might not even get in drag the whole weekend. I'm like very very excited about
Yeah.
that
I have
because
a-
previous years
yeah.
like I was leading tours, and it would be summertime, like very busy tourist season, and I'd be doing like 3 to like 9 tours in a weekend. And then doing Pride gigs on top of that. It was
No,
like
man.
fucked up. Like I would literally do like 10 gigs in 2 days
That's
on
crazy.
Pride weekend.
So
so.
you have a handful of good paying gigs.
Mm.
Okay, I'm gonna be gauche a little bit.
Okay.
I want to talk about booking rates.
Yes.
Like, do you have a personal rate sheet? Do you know what you're worth, and do you know what you'll say no to and what you'll say yes to? Obviously, you do, but like,
I
can we
don't have
talk
a
about it?
set rate
Okay.
personally. Like I don't know. If I want to do the gig, I'm gonna do it.
That part.
Pretty much. Like, but if somebody's like, "Hey, we have this corporate thing. What's your rate?" Then I'm gonna be like, "Give me like $500 or give me $1,000." I'm gonna
Mhm.
feel it out and get as
Yeah.
much as I can get out
Yeah.
of them. But otherwise, I mean, I just do the gig if I want to do it.
That part.
I don't know. I
So
also host a weekly show where I pay people $40 for a number. And I know it should be more, but for the record, I literally lose money on the show every week. I don't make anything off of it. So I'm like, I'm not going to be too intense with people being like, you have to pay me more because I know you can't always,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, if I want to do the gig, I'll do the gig.
Yeah. That's kind of something that I wanted to like announce or like put out into the universe. Like, I think for myself, I've come to a point where it's just like, I think what's worth my time, if I was gonna like kind of like write it out, you know, for like a gig, it's like bare minimum $300. That's worth my time. If I do anything for less than $300, that means I either like you or I like your show,
Mhm.
you know, because that's what my time's worth. And then yeah, for corporate gigs, like I think just start at 1,000, stay there. Yeah. Cute.
Yeah.
So what are your corporate gigs? Can we know? Are they secret? Did you sign
Well,
an NDA?
No, but I just accepted a gig, but I don't know what company it's for.
I always look it up first.
So, well, I
And
haven't
it doesn't stop me.
I
but
haven't
just
signed
have
any
to-
paperwork. So basically, somebody reached out to me and they were like, "Hey, I guess he has like a management company. I don't know what the fuck. He books performers for things, and he's like, so and so, give me your number. Are you available for this bingo thing? Here's the money." And I was like, "Okay, sure, that sounds fine." Where was I going with that?
I don't
I can't remember.
know.
Oh, we talked today, and he's like, I don't know if it's it's in an office building, but he was like, I don't know if it's like a shared office, so it's people from different companies, or it's like one company.
Oh.
So I'm waiting to hear exactly who I'm doing this for,
Mhm.
and if it's something weird, then like I haven't signed anything yet, so I could ditch it.
Okay, what's crazy? I've only bagged one corporate gig this year,
Mm-hmm.
and they already paid me. They're like, "Yeah, I'll do it." I was like, "Great, what's your PayPal?" And I'm just like, they
That's
should
nice.
always do
They
that.
should always do that.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
I'm just like, I could phone it in. I could not show up. I don't know. Something bad might
Those-
happen.
Those can be nice, but when you get paid like several weeks in advance, and then you spend the money,
Yeah.
and then you still have to go do the gig,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh.
Well, here's the thing.
It's not fun.
I did a trivia over Zoom last year, and I didn't get paid till like 2.5, 3 months later. I was on the horn calling people's boss's boss.
It's these like businesses. Y'all know how to do business, right? Can't figure out how to pay people on time. Figure it out.
I was confused because it was a rich ass company, and I'm just like, where's this money tied up? Anyways, petty cash. They should just have like a big lockbox full of extra money for queer people. Okay, well that was fun. Well, let's do another break. Let's decompress from talking about pride and corporations, and then when we get back, we'll get into the last couple of questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about kind of your relationship with Florida Man and how she's not your child. But you also mentioned having a close relationship with David as an inspiration. Do you have a drag family? Do you count that you feel like you're a part of? And then also tell us more about your relationship with David.
Okay. So yes, I am part of the House of Moore. So Mr. David Glamamore is my mother. So yeah, I kind of got like, I don't know, grandfathered in sounds weird. Like stepmommed in. So like Glamma is like the top of the family tree because Juanita is her daughter. And then like there's, she has a million kids and whatever. But, I kind of came in like a few years ago and was like, hey, Juanita, I'm your sister. Hey, Miss Ronnie, I'm your sister. Hey, Vudana, I'm your great aunt. It's like I kind of like skipped the ranks. So I'm like everybody's aunt and like great whatever the fuck in the family tree. But so I was doing drag for like 4 years before I had a drag parent. When I moved to San Francisco, I'd been doing drag in Philadelphia for a couple years, but I didn't really have any like particular mentor per se. I was just figuring stuff out. And when I was coming out here, I was like, I was like seeing people like Grace Towers and like Glamma and being like, ooh, like it'd be so cool to join one of these families or like, have a mentor or whatever. But I was like very much not wanting to just have a drag parent or a drag kid or whatever and it not mean anything.
Yeah.
Like I was like, if I'm gonna be someone's drag kid, like it needs to be a really real relationship that like means something. That was important to me, and I just like gradually became, I met Glamour, probably at Club Something at the Stud or at Powerhouse, and we just kept running into each other, getting to know each other. You know, he booked me for stuff, and we just like ended up spending more time together, and it kind of just developed naturally. By the time she adopted me, I think I was already working for her.
Oh.
And it was a long conversation
Yeah.
because she has many, 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 many drag children, and there's categories too. There's like drag child, and then there's like fairy goddess child, which means like it's like your family, but like I didn't birth you, like you came to me fully formed, but like we have this relationship. So like fairy goddess child, and for a while she was like, you could be a fairy goddess child, and I was like, no, no, bitch.
Blood.
Make me your daughter. And for a while, she was saying that I would have to wrestle Juanita to be considered a daughter, but I somehow that didn't have to happen. And
Wait, could that still happen though?
I hope so. Let's go. I'm ready.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So when we say work for David, what do you do for David?
So, kind of everything. I am officially her in-home supportive services caregiver. Which I just was like looking through paperwork and I was like, oh my God, I've been doing this job for 5 years, which is crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, she basically like through like government subsidy stuff, they're like, you can, we'll pay for you to have like a helper for whatever. And so like I was already spending a lot of time with her, just come over with coffee, hang out while she was sewing, whatever. So I was already spending time over there, and she was like, I needed a job really bad too. And she was like, do you want to get paid to just do a little bit more? Like come over, walk the dog, pick up groceries, drop off laundry, like whatever. But like you're coming over anyway, so you don't want to get paid. And now it's been 5 years that I've been doing that. But I also have become her like sewing apprentice. So like not every outfit, but I'd say like 75% of the things that she makes, I touch.
That's great.
So
that's cool.
She, does all the pattern making, designs it. I'll have like, this much input. She'll be like, should it be a flare like this or a flare like that? And I'm like, I like that one. So we talk about design stuff, but I do a lot of like the physical labor of like, the very first thing that I worked on for her was Juanita's pink tulle pride dress.
Oh my God. Sorry,
From,
I'm like remembering
no,
it. It's
yeah,
gorgeous.
that was like 2017, 18, I forget. 500 yards of Dusty Rose tulle. That was the very first project I worked on. She was like, here's how you cut a circle. Okay, do that 1,000 times. She literally handed me like 50 bolts of fabric and was just like, do that. Keep doing that. Cut more, cut more, cut more, cut more.
That's
So,
like Mr. Miyagi in the Karate Kid.
yeah, wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I know how to cut a circle.
Wow, that's cool. Oh, I want something made by the two of you.
Get in line, bitch.
I know. Okay. Well, that's wonderful. That's so cool. Sorry, I'm just like I want your life. That's really Okay. So I know you say you don't want any drag children, but you've been kind of like in the game for a while, and I think you just have a lot of wisdom and knowledge.
Are you calling me old?
I am calling you old. Do you have advice to give new performers? Like, let's say there's a queen came up to you or a king came up to you and is like, I want to do drag. What's advice that you would give them?
I have like a stock answer to this.
Okay.
Because I've said this to a lot of people when I've gotten this question, is like, you will never be ready. There will never be a right time. Like so many, and I did this for a long time, for like a few years. I was like, I want to do drag, but I'm not ready. Oh, it's not the right time. I don't know. I need to like figure things out first. And my advice is, you're never going to know. You're never going to have it figured out. You're never going to be ready. The only way to do it is to do it. So just like dive in, do it. And I touched on it earlier, but like, please do not focus too much on like setting yourself in a box or a brand or an aesthetic. Like, you're literally starting out an art form. Do not limit yourself. Like, do what feels good. Do what is fun. Like, try different shit. I say that and I paint the exact same face every time I'm in drag for like many, many years.
You look different.
I'm saying like, just don't box yourself in. Don't limit yourself. Don't like I mean, if you want to be on Drag Race and that's your goal in life and you want to like work towards that, do it. But like, don't box yourself too much in for like what some hypothetical judge on a TV show you may or may not get on will say. Like, do what's fun to you because that's the only way you're going to enjoy it.
Work. That's also how you win. Have fun. Just kidding. No, be good. That's great advice. So that's good spiritual advice for a baby drag performer. Do you have anything practical? Is there something that you see younger performers do or engage in that you think like, don't do that, or just like general guidance?
My biggest practical advice: shave your fucking eyebrows. Get rid of them. Take them off. It'll change your life.
Really?
I haven't had eyebrows for like 6 or 7 years.
I asked you a while ago, should I shave my eyebrows? And you're like, no, I'm so happy they grew back. Was that you? Maybe that was somebody
No.
else.
I tried to grow mine back during lockdown. I
Okay.
was like, oh, I'm not like working at the club. Like I have time to like figure out. Okay, so I was like, when I started out doing drag, I was like not a makeup girl. I'm
Mhm.
still not really. I'm kind of like, I figured out what works for me and I'm whatever. But like, I was not doing anything crazy. I was like wearing my natural brow, you know, a tiny lash. It was like barely any makeup. So then like after a little time in San Francisco and getting more into the drag scene, I was like, okay, let me like actually try. Let me figure out how to cover these brows and like, you know, do the thing. And I was gluing my brows for like 2 weeks and I gave up and I shaved them. And I tried during lockdown to grow
Okay.
them back. And I was like trying to glue them, and I was like, "No, I hate this," and I shaved them again.
Oh, maybe
So-
I just asked you. I was like, do your brow? How long does it take for your brows to grow back? And maybe you were just like, oh.
It does take a long time.
Okay.
I went like a month, and they still were like not easy to glue, so I gave up.
Okay, viewers at home, let me know in the comments if I should shave my eyebrows because I said viewers at home. Okay, thank you. Well, that's great advice. That's something actually worth me considering. Okay, so we recently had an opportunity to watch some of our friends compete in Drag Queen of the Year.
Yes.
You have even yet to apply to the Prince X pageant. So what?
Um.
But are you gonna apply to Drag Queen of the Year?
Yes, I did apply last year. And didn't get in, obviously. And then this year came around, and I was like still really into it, and I was like gonna apply, and then I was like, I really don't feel like I have a lot of like new material to show. Like I didn't have like, you know, well shot numbers that were new that I felt good about. You know, I was just kind of like, I don't feel like I have enough to show right now. But then I found out Nikki was like, "Oh, girl, I sent the same application from the year before," and then they took me. So I'm like, I was probably
there you go.
overthinking it. So maybe you'll see me next year.
Oh, so do you have a number in mind for kind of something of that size, that magnitude?
I have some ideas, but I'm not going to give them away right here.
Well, I want to
So,
know. Okay, that's fine.
I do have that. I don't know if you've seen the Dusty Springfield number I do with the blue dress, and there's the fabric like wrapped around my body. And
Yeah, and you
I'm like
unravel.
rotating.
Oh my god!
So
Yes.
I want to do something
Something like
like
that.
that.
I
Like
see.
I'm not a bucking dancing queen. Like I can learn a little choreo, but like I'm not gonna win with a dance number. So I'd rather give like a high concept, like
Yeah.
really beautiful experience
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
play to my strengths, which are standing
Totally.
still and looking beautiful.
Well, that's one thing that I noticed is just like I don't think Nikki or Snacks tried to reinvent the wheel,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak. They just like did what they knew they did really well,
Yeah.
and they just did it extra, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So if you did whatever you do best extra, oh my god, I worry for the competition. Okay, well that brings us to the end. Oh my god, thank you for sitting with me.
Thank
Your room is so
you.
cute, even
Thank
though
you
it's
so much.
messy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Mine's worse.
I
It's-
cleaned for this.
Yeah. No, I love darting around and like looking at all your wigs and costumes. Oh my god. Yeah, some of them are yours. Like that. I know that's the Barbie one. Oh my god.
Mhm.
I want that on my head. Okay, so we have to get ready for a gig, but would you help me read out my patrons?
I would love to.
Okay, you go first.
I love these names. Allie Scott,
Anita Bump,
What?
Bevo nerd.
Bevo Nerd.
Bella.
Buttermum on Cakes.
Chris Hendricks.
Clark Alexander. Who the fuck is that?
Diana. It is.
Freddie Seapold. We got last names in here? Damn.
Yeah. Kai Kai B. Government Mike. Kai Kai B. Mike. Government name. Kai Kai B. Michaels.
And Tara
Tara
Bull.
Bull. Thank you so much.
Thank
Tune
you,
in next week
patrons.
for our next interview. And this has been lovely.
Thanks for having me.
Hey. Okay, let's pose. Because we'll steal some of these for like... Oh my gosh, I said I'm ready, but I feel like I could burp at any moment. It's like stuck underneath one of these like corset-y things. Okay. Okay, no, that's fine. It's gonna come out. That was a bad fake burp. It's gonna come out when it comes out. It always does.